Introduction: The Global Presence and Diversity of Islam. Islam is one of the world's largest and most widespread religions, with a global following of approximately 1.5 billion people. This vast number reflects the deep historical roots and broad geographical reach of the Islamic faith, which spans continents and cultures. Muslim-majority countries stretch from the westernmost part of Africa, in Morocco, across the Middle East and Central Asia, to the Far Eastern nations like Indonesia, which holds the largest Muslim population in the world. Despite its universal reach, Islam is far from monolithic. The interpretation and practice of Islamic teachings, particularly those found in the Quran, the holy book of Islam, vary significantly across different cultures and regions. This diversity is shaped by historical, political, and social factors, resulting in various schools of thought and sects within the religion. Among the most prominent divisions within Islam are the two largest sects, Sunni and Shia. Sunni Muslims make up the majority, accounting for approximately 85 to 90% of the global Muslim population. Shia Muslims, though a minority, hold significant influence in regions such as Iran, Iraq, and parts of Lebanon and Bahrain. While both sects share core beliefs, such as faith in Allah and the Prophet Muhammad as his messenger, they differ in their interpretations of leadership succession after the Prophet's death, as well as some religious practices and legal interpretations. Historical background of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ali ibn Abi Talib holds a central place in Islamic history as one of its most revered figures. Born into the prestigious Hashimi clan of the Quraysh tribe in Mecca around 600 CE, Ali was both the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad. He was raised under the Prophet's care from a young age, which fostered a deep bond between them. This connection was not only familial, but also spiritual. Ali was one of the earliest and most devout followers of Muhammad's teachings, embracing Islam at a young age. His unwavering loyalty, wisdom, and courage became defining traits throughout his life. Known for his piety and justice, Ali's close relationship with the Prophet led him to become a significant figure in both Sunni and Shia branches of Islam. His leadership, personal qualities, and later role as the fourth Caliph remain vital to understanding the early development of Islam and its political and spiritual foundations. Ali's legacy is particularly cherished in Shia Islam, where he is seen as the first Imam, the rightful successor to Muhammad. His life and teachings continue to inspire discussions on justice, governance, and the ideal Islamic leader. Ali's early role in Islam. Ali's early acceptance of Islam at age 10, Ali ibn Abi Talib was the cousin of Prophet Muhammad, and he grew up in the household of the Prophet. At the age of 10, he became one of the earliest followers of Islam, accepting the new faith at a very young age. His conversion holds particular significance, as it was a pivotal moment for the nascent Muslim community. Ali's acceptance was marked by his pure, youthful conviction, as he was not influenced by the pressures or expectations of society. His early embrace of Islam symbolizes a deep, untainted commitment to the message of Prophet Muhammad. His bravery and loyalty. During the persecution in Mecca. During the early years of Islam in Mecca, Muslims faced severe persecution from the Quraysh tribe, the dominant power in the city. Despite the hostile environment, Ali remained steadfast in his faith, showcasing immense bravery and loyalty to both Prophet Muhammad and the message of Islam. His youth did not deter him from defending the Prophet and the Muslim community, often standing up against the aggressions of the Quraysh. Ali's courage was highlighted during moments when Islam was under threat, solidifying his reputation as a protector of the faith from its earliest days. Ali's critical role during the migration to Medina, Hijrah. When Prophet Muhammad decided to leave Mecca and migrate to Medina, the Hijrah, due to escalating threats, Ali played a pivotal role in ensuring the safety of the Prophet. On the night of the migration, as Quraysh leaders plotted to assassinate Muhammad, Ali volunteered to sleep in the Prophet's bed, effectively acting as a decoy. His fearless act allowed the Prophet to escape unnoticed, marking a critical turning point for the survival of Islam. Afterward, Ali risked his life further by staying behind in Mecca to return the belongings that the Prophet had been entrusted with by various people, demonstrating his unwavering integrity and loyalty. He later joined the Prophet and the Muslim community in Medina, continuing his support as a key figure in the growing Islamic society. Ali's marriage and contributions to Islam. Marriage to Fatima, Prophet Muhammad's daughter. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin and son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad, married Fatima, the Prophet's beloved daughter. This union holds great significance in Islamic history, as it not only strengthened familial ties, but also established the foundation for the Prophet's descendants, known as the al-Bayt, the family of the Prophet. Ali and Fatima's marriage is viewed as a model of piety, love, and devotion in Islam. Despite their modest living conditions, they supported one another in faith and raised children who would become pivotal figures in Islamic history, including Hassan, Hussein, and Zainab. Ali's role as a warrior and scholar. Ali's contributions to Islam were multifaceted. He was a brave and skilled warrior, known for his valor in several key battles during the early days of Islam. In the Pasama, Battle of Badr men, Ali fought valiantly, killing many of the Quraysh's strongest warriors. In the Patam Battle of Uhud, despite the Muslims initially suffering setbacks, Ali remained steadfast, protecting the Prophet from harm. During the Hos Battle of Khandak, the Battle of the Trench, Ali's legendary single combat against the Quraysh's champion, Amr ibn Abd al-Wud, became a pivotal moment in the battle, leading to a Muslim victory. Beyond his military contributions, Ali was also a renowned scholar and one of the closest companions of the Prophet. He was known for his deep understanding of the Quran and his wisdom in matters of jurisprudence and theology. Ali's role as the first Imam in Shia Islam and the fourth Caliph in Sunni Islam highlights his significant religious and political influence. His speeches, sayings and letters, later compiled in works such as Nahjul Balagha, continue to inspire Muslims worldwide. The Prophet Muhammad's final years. Expansion of the Muslim Ummah and the conquest of Mecca. In the final years of Prophet Muhammad's life, the Muslim community, Ummah, grew significantly, both in terms of territory and followers. After years of conflict with the Quraysh tribe of Mecca, Muhammad led a peaceful conquest of Mecca in 630 CE. This event marked a turning point, as the city, which had initially opposed Muhammad's message, was now under Muslim control. The Prophet's actions during the conquest emphasized mercy and reconciliation. He famously forgave his former enemies, declaring general amnesty. Mecca was established as the spiritual center of Islam, and the Kaaba was cleansed of idols, becoming the focal point of Muslim worship. Muhammad's final sermon at Ghadir Qum and its significance. In 632 CE, shortly before his death, Prophet Muhammad delivered a farewell sermon during his final pilgrimage, Hajj, at a place called Ghadir Qum, located between Mecca and Medina. The sermon is significant in Islamic tradition, as it conveyed important messages about unity, equality, justice, and adherence to the Quran and his teachings. At this location, Muhammad held up the hand of his cousin and son-in-law, Ali ibn Abi Talib, and declared, "For whomever I am his Mawla, leader or protector, Ali is his Mawla." This statement became a crucial point of interpretation for both Sunni and Shia Muslims regarding the Prophet's intentions about leadership after his death. Shia interpretation. Ali's appointment as Muhammad's successor. For Shia Muslims, the declaration at Ghadir Khum is interpreted as a clear appointment of Ali as Muhammad's rightful successor, establishing a divinely ordained line of leadership, imamate. They view the term Mawla as signifying authority and leadership in both spiritual and political matters. According to Shia belief, Muhammad's words confirmed that Ali was to be the first imam, and leadership should continue through Ali's descendants, beginning the line of the 12 imams in Shia Islam. This interpretation is central to Shia doctrine, emphasizing that leadership of the Muslim community was not only a political matter, but also a spiritual responsibility assigned by divine will. Sunni interpretation. Ali's special status, not succession. Sunni Muslims, on the other hand, interpret the event at Ghadir Khum differently. While they acknowledge Ali's special status as one of the closest companions of the Prophet and a righteous Caliph, they do not see this moment as a designation of succession. Instead, they interpret Mawla to mean a close friend, protector, or supporter, underscoring Ali's importance within the community without conferring political leadership. According to the Sunni view, the Prophet did not explicitly appoint a successor, and leadership was to be decided through consultation, shura, among the community, which led to the election of Abu Bakr as the first Caliph after Muhammad's death. In summary, the final years of Prophet Muhammad's life were marked by the expansion of Islam, the conquest of Mecca, and significant events such as his final sermon at Ghadir Khum, which laid the foundation for differing interpretations within Islam, particularly between Sunni and Shia branches, regarding leadership and succession. The pen and paper incident refers to a significant event during the final days of the Prophet Muhammad, which has had profound implications in the historical divide between Sunni and Shia Muslims. Mamabuan background. During Prophet Muhammad's last illness, just days before his death, he was bedridden and surrounded by several companions. On one occasion, he reportedly asked for writing materials, a pen and paper or similar writing instrument, to dictate something that would prevent the Muslim community from going astray after his death. The incident. Muhammad's request triggered a heated dispute among those present. Some companions believed that fulfilling the Prophet's request was essential, as whatever he intended to write would be crucial for the future guidance of the Muslim community. However, others, notably Umar ibn al-Khattab, a close companion of the Prophet and a future Caliph, reportedly suggested that there was no need to bring the materials, saying that the Prophet was gravely ill and that the Quran is sufficient for us. This disagreement prevented the Prophet from making his statement, leading to confusion and speculation over what he might have intended to say. Sunni perspective. Sunni Muslims generally believe that the Prophet Muhammad did not leave specific instructions regarding his successor. They interpret the events as a sign that the leadership of the Muslim community should be decided through a consultative process, shura, as was done shortly after his death when Abu Bakr was chosen as the first Caliph. They view Umar's intervention as a sign of respect for the Prophet's illness and as an affirmation of the belief that the Quran is sufficient guidance for the community. Shia perspective. Shia Muslims, on the other hand, believe that the Prophet Muhammad intended to explicitly name Ali, his cousin and son-in-law, as his successor during this event. They see the refusal to give the Prophet writing materials as a deliberate act by some companions to prevent Ali's appointment. For Shia Muslims, this incident is one of the key moments that contributed to the leadership dispute following the Prophet's death, which they believe should have been resolved by recognizing Ali as the divinely appointed leader, imam, of the Muslim community. Historical and theological impact. The pen and paper incident is one of the early flashpoints that led to the Sunni-Shia schism. The Sunni position emphasizes the community's role in choosing its leader, while the Shia position centers on the belief that leadership was divinely ordained in the line of the Prophet's family, beginning with Ali. This theological difference has shaped the development of both Sunni and Shia Islam for centuries. Thus, the pen and paper incident remains a deeply symbolic event, representing the differing views on leadership, authority, and succession in Islam. Succession after Muhammad's death. After the Prophet Muhammad passed away in 632 CE, the Muslim community faced a pivotal moment in determining who would lead them next. This decision sparked significant historical debates, particularly between Sunni and Shia interpretations, and began with a key event: meeting at Saqifa. Following Muhammad's death, prominent leaders of the Muslim community gathered at Saqifa, a roofed hall in Medina, to discuss the leadership of the Muslim Ummah community. The urgency arose because the Prophet had not explicitly named a successor, leaving the companions to determine the next leader. The Ansar, local residents of Medina, initially proposed one of their own to lead, but the Muhajirun, Meccan immigrants and close companions of Muhammad, insisted that leadership should remain within the Quraysh tribe, to which Muhammad belonged. After intense discussion, Abu Bakr, one of the Prophet's closest companions and father-in-law, was selected as the first Caliph, successor. His selection was largely facilitated by Umar ibn al-Khattab's strong support, who swore allegiance, bay'ah, to Abu Bakr, followed by others present. The decision was based on Abu Bakr's long-standing service to Islam and his leadership qualities. This meeting set the course for how leadership would be chosen in the early Islamic Caliphate. Sunni perspective. The Sunni view holds that the appointment of Abu Bakr was a legitimate and pragmatic decision made by consensus, ijma, of the community's leaders. They believe that while the Prophet Muhammad may not have explicitly named Abu Bakr, his actions during his lifetime, such as asking Abu Bakr to lead the prayer in his absence, indicated his implicit endorsement. Sunni Muslims see the Caliphate of Abu Bakr as the rightful continuation of Muhammad's mission, focusing on unity and stability for the Ummah during a critical transition. Shia perspective. In contrast, Shia Muslims view the events at Saqifa as a betrayal of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, whom they believe was the Prophet's divinely appointed successor. Shia traditions emphasize that Muhammad had publicly declared Ali as his successor during the event at Ghadir Qum, where he reportedly said, "For whomever I am his leader, Mawla, Ali is his leader." Thus, they regard Abu Bakr's appointment as an unjust usurpation of Ali's rightful leadership, resulting in a historical divide between the two sects. Tensions between Ali and the early caliphs. Ali's relationship with the early caliphs, particularly Abu Bakr, was complex. Although he initially did not pledge allegiance to Abu Bakr immediately after the meeting at Saqifa, Ali eventually recognized Abu Bakr's leadership to maintain the unity of the Muslim community. However, the Shia tradition views Ali's delayed bay'ah as a sign of his dissatisfaction with the decision. This underlying tension carried on throughout the reigns of Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, leading to deep divisions within the Muslim community, which culminated in Ali's eventual caliphate and the subsequent civil wars that shaped early Islamic history. The Sunni-Shia split that emerged from these events continues to influence Islamic thought, politics, and sectarian dynamics today. Tabra, conflict and unity within the early Muslim community. The period following the Prophet Muhammad's death saw both intense conflict and efforts to preserve unity within the Muslim community, particularly revolving around the succession of leadership. One of the key events reflecting this tension is the confrontation at Ali's house, or the door incident, which holds significant interpretations in both Sunni and Shia traditions. The confrontation at Ali's house and the door incident. After the death of the Prophet, a serious conflict emerged over who should lead the Muslim community. While many companions of the Prophet gathered in Saqifa to discuss the successor, Ali, the Prophet's cousin and son-in-law, along with his wife Fatima, the Prophet's daughter, remained at home. Ali had strong claims to the leadership, given his close familial ties and his recognized spiritual and political role in Islam. Shia perspective, a major grievance and Fatima's injury. In the Shia tradition, the incident at Ali and Fatima's house is seen as a highly emotional and tragic event. Shia sources recount that prominent figures, including the first Caliph, Abu Bakr, and his close advisor Umar, sought to compel Ali to pledge allegiance to Abu Bakr. According to Shia narratives, this led to a confrontation at Ali's house, where Umar and his companions demanded Ali's allegiance. In the course of this incident, Shia historians argue that Fatima was physically injured when Umar attempted to force the door open. Fatima, being the beloved daughter of the Prophet, is revered in Shia Islam, and this event is seen as a major grievance against those who were pushing for immediate allegiance to Abu Bakr. The injury Fatima sustained, which some accounts suggest led to her miscarriage, is viewed as a direct insult and injustice to the Prophet's family, deepening the divide between those loyal to Ali's claim and those supporting Abu Bakr's caliphate. For the Shia, this event symbolizes not only political strife, but a violation of the sanctity of the Prophet's household, known as the al-Bayt. Sunni perspective, the desire for unity and a downplayed conflict. In the Sunni tradition, the door incident is not emphasized or is downplayed significantly compared to Shia accounts. Sunni sources generally acknowledge that there was tension regarding Ali's reluctance to immediately pledge allegiance, but they argue that the primary motivation of the early Muslim leadership was to preserve the unity of the community in a time of crisis. The Sunni perspective suggests that Abu Bakr and Umar were acting out of concern for potential fragmentation within the Ummah community after the Prophet's death. The conflict is viewed more as a political disagreement rather than a deep personal assault on Fatima or Ali. Sunni historians often emphasize that while emotions ran high in the early days of the caliphate, the intentions of Abu Bakr and Umar were for the greater good of the Muslim state, seeking to avoid civil unrest. As such, any physical altercation is either downplayed or regarded as a regrettable but minor incident. Conflict and the quest for unity. This event encapsulates the broader theme of conflict and unity within the early Muslim community. For the Shia, the confrontation represents the unjust sidelining of Ali and the betrayal of the Prophet's family, marking the beginning of a long history of marginalization. For Sunnis, the early actions of the caliphs, including this incident, are often framed within the broader context of stabilizing the nascent Muslim state and preserving unity in a time of vulnerability. Thus, while both traditions recognize that the early Muslim community faced significant challenges, the door incident highlights the sharply different ways that history is remembered and interpreted, with unity being either the goal or the cost, depending on the perspective. Ali's later role in the Ummah context of succession. After the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632 CE, the Muslim community faced a critical decision regarding leadership. This moment marked the beginning of the caliphate, and the choice of the first caliph became a contentious issue, deeply influencing the trajectory of Islamic history. Reluctant acceptance of Abu Bakr's caliphate. Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, initially refrained from pledging allegiance to Abu Bakr, who was chosen as the first caliph by a group of prominent companions. Ali's hesitation stemmed from his belief that he was the rightful successor, based on his close relationship with the Prophet and his significant contributions to the early Islamic community. Despite his personal convictions, Ali's eventual acceptance of Abu Bakr's leadership was marked by a sense of reluctance. He prioritized the stability and unity of the Muslim Ummah community over his personal claims. This decision reflects the complex dynamics of loyalty, duty, and the preservation of the community during a tumultuous period. Shia view: coerced acceptance. In Shia Islam, Ali's acceptance of Abu Bakr's caliphate is often interpreted as coerced. Shia scholars argue that Ali was pressured to pledge allegiance due to the political climate and the need for unity among Muslims. They assert that Ali's reluctance was rooted in his conviction that the Prophet had designated him as the rightful leader, and that the initial caliphate of Abu Bakr undermined this divine appointment. The Shia perspective highlights the themes of justice and rightful leadership, emphasizing Ali's moral integrity and loyalty to the Prophet's legacy. They view his eventual allegiance as an act of duty to protect the community, even if it meant compromising his rightful claim. Sunni view: wisdom and commitment to unity. Conversely, Sunni interpretations of Ali's acceptance focus on his wisdom and commitment to the unity of the Ummah. Sunni scholars argue that Ali's decision to support Abu Bakr, despite his initial reservations, demonstrated a pragmatic approach to governance. By endorsing Abu Bakr's caliphate, Ali helped maintain social cohesion and stability during a time of uncertainty, reflecting a dedication to the broader Islamic community. Sunni views often emphasize Ali's role in the subsequent consolidation of the Islamic State under Abu Bakr's leadership, recognizing his contributions to the early caliphate despite his initial hesitance. This perspective underscores Ali's loyalty to the principle of unity, which was crucial for the survival of the nascent Muslim community. Conclusion: Ali's later role in the Ummah is a pivotal chapter in Islamic history, reflecting the complexities of leadership, loyalty, and the competing narratives within the Muslim community. His reluctant acceptance of Abu Bakr's caliphate encapsulates the tension between personal convictions and communal responsibilities, with Shia and Sunni perspectives offering distinct interpretations that continue to influence Islamic thought and identity today. Ali's ascension as the fourth caliph. After the assassination of Uthman ibn Affan in 656 CE, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin and son-in-law of the Prophet Muhammad, became the fourth caliph of the Islamic community. Uthman's rule had been marked by increasing discontent and allegations of nepotism, which fueled tensions among various factions within the rapidly growing Muslim state. Following Uthman's death, Ali was chosen as Caliph in a tumultuous environment, characterized by widespread unrest and calls for justice against Uthman's killers. His ascension was not universally accepted, leading to significant political and social challenges as he attempted to unify the fractured community. The Battle of the Camel. One of the earliest and most significant conflicts during Ali's caliphate was the Battle of the Camel in 656 CE. This battle pitted Ali against a coalition of powerful figures, including Aisha, the widow of the Prophet Muhammad, Talha, and Zubair, who were seeking retribution for Uthman's murder. Aisha, who had a strong following and was influential among the early Muslim community, led this faction in what they perceived as a just cause. The battle took place near Basra in present-day Iraq and ended with a decisive victory for Ali's forces. However, the conflict exacerbated divisions within the Muslim community and left a lasting legacy of bitterness and discord, marking a significant moment in the first fitna, the first civil war in Islam. conflict with Muawiyah, and the Battle of Siffin. The conflict continued with Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, the governor of Syria and a relative of Uthman, who refused to recognize Ali's caliphate. Muawiyah's assertion of authority was fueled by his desire for revenge against Uthman's murderers and his ambition to maintain control over Syria. This rivalry culminated in the Battle of Siffin in 657 CE, a protracted confrontation that showcased the deepening divide between Ali's supporters and those loyal to Muawiyah. The battle ended in a stalemate, leading to an arbitration process aimed at resolving the conflict. However, the arbitration further fragmented the Muslim community, as some of Ali's followers rejected the outcome, leading to the emergence of the Kharijite sect, who advocated for a more puritanical interpretation of Islam and violently opposed Ali's leadership. Conclusion. The events surrounding Ali's caliphate and the first fitna illustrate a critical period in early Islamic history, marked by political strife, military conflict, and profound ideological divisions. Ali's leadership faced enormous challenges, not only from rival factions, but also in establishing a cohesive governance model for a rapidly expanding and diverse Muslim community. His caliphate laid the groundwork for future disputes over leadership and authority, setting a precedent for the sectarian divisions that would shape Islamic history for centuries to come. Ali's assassination and aftermath. In 661 CE, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the fourth Caliph of Islam and cousin of the Prophet Muhammad, was assassinated by a Kharijite named Ibn Muljam during prayer in the Mosque of Kufa. This act was not merely a personal vendetta. It symbolized the escalating tensions within the early Islamic community, marked by political strife and ideological divisions. The Kharijites, who had initially supported Ali, turned against him due to their discontent with his decisions, particularly his willingness to negotiate with Muawiyah during the Battle of Siffin. Ali's assassination marked a pivotal point in Islamic history, signaling the end of the Rashidun Caliphate, which was characterized by its leadership of the community through consultation and consensus. Following his death, Ali's son Hassan briefly assumed leadership. However, he faced immense pressure and was ultimately compelled to negotiate a peace treaty with Muawiyah. This treaty effectively ended the civil strife, but also led to Hassan's abdication, allowing Muawiyah to consolidate power without significant opposition. Muawiyah's rise to power heralded the establishment of the Umayyad dynasty, which shifted the Islamic political landscape from a community-focused leadership to a dynastic rule. The Umayyads, under Muawiyah, emphasized central authority and often resorted to authoritarian measures to maintain control, further complicating the political climate of the Islamic world. The legacy of the Sunni-Shia divide. The political maneuvers of Muawiyah culminated in the controversial appointment of his son Yazid as his successor, thus breaking the treaty with Hassan. This act sowed further discord among the Muslim community, leading to widespread discontent, particularly among those loyal to Ali and his lineage. This division reached a critical point in 680 CE with the martyrdom of Hussein, Ali's younger son, at the Battle of Karbala. Hussein's resistance against Yazid's oppressive regime became a defining moment for Shia Muslims, solidifying their identity and opposition to Umayyad rule. The tragedy at Karbala not only entrenched the rift between Sunni and Shia Muslims, but also laid the foundation for Shia theology, which emphasized martyrdom, sacrifice, and the concept of the imamate. This divide evolved into a broader theological and political schism that has persisted throughout Islamic history, affecting communal relations, governance, and religious practices across the Muslim world. Conclusion. The enduring effects of the Sunni-Shia divide are evident in the historical, theological, and socio-political landscape of Islam. The split has influenced Islamic thought, contributed to varying interpretations of the faith, and resulted in a myriad of cultural and religious practices. The legacy of figures like Ali, Hassan, and Hussein continues to inspire millions, shaping the identities of Sunni and Shia communities globally. The historical events surrounding their lives and deaths remain central to understanding contemporary Islamic dynamics, highlighting themes of leadership, justice, and resistance against tyranny. This complex history is crucial for fostering dialogue and understanding among diverse Muslim communities today.